Hi team, Coach Alexia here. We're coming into the spring and the days are getting a little longer, which is always awesome. So I thought I'd share a little bit of information that's come out over the last few years around how to be seen if you're somebody who's out on the road in something that isn't like a car, a bus or a van or something like that. So you might have noticed when you started your running journey, or maybe if you started cycling more regularly, that once you're doing something like that and once you're out running, you tend to spot more runners. Or once you're out cycling more regularly, you tend to spot more cyclists. And it's down to a way that our brain works a little bit. So our brain is not taking in all of the information about everything that's going on around us all of the time, because quite frankly, that is a load of information, most of which is irrelevant, really. We don't need to know all of that detail the whole time. But when our brain is making those decisions about what it consciously notices and wants to do something about versus not, we're only human. We don't make perfect decisions all of the time. So, when, for example, you start running, when you start cycling, you start noticing more runners and cyclists, it's because, you're doing it more and you tend to, spot similar people doing similar things. It makes it easier to notice other things that you perhaps weren't expecting to see as frequently before. So there's some interesting research to show that you can literally be looked at but not seen in some situations. So interesting research around cars and bicycles at junctions. They can literally be looking exactly where you are but not see that you are a cyclist, you are a person. You just kind of, as far as their brain is concerned, you've not been seen as an important thing to pick up on. And so they might have looked through you but not noticed that it's actually a human that is there, which is why there can be some sort of issues at complex intersections. Also at junctions, roundabouts, pulling out of driveways, etc. Drivers are often concentrating on other stuff, and so they're less likely to see things that they're not expecting to see. So how can you help with that? There's lots of talk about high vis in the world of running, cycling, even walking now, I think it was mentioned recently, and things like motorcycling too. And yeah, absolutely, there's lots of evidence, particularly in the dark nights, having some high vis on so you're not just blending in with the shadows can really help. And there's a percentage difference in how many people are spotted and not run over. Particularly reflective strips on things like your arms and legs, which when you're running or on a bicycle or walking, they're moving. So there's that movement that kind of catches the eye, and that's what's behind some of the moving lights that you get on bicycles as well. The movement is more likely to kind of catch people's eye and make them recognise that you're a person, not just a thing on the side of the road. The other interesting one is the fact that, that high vis yellow, which can be great on dull days, on darker days, because it really sort of stands out, doesn't necessarily work all the time. So now we're coming into the spring, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have brighter, sunnier days, but also we'll get that sort of quite bright, light green foliage, new foliage coming through on the trees, in the flower beds, on the hedges at the side of the road. And actually, it's not a massively different colour, that bright spring green on a sunny day, to high vis yellow. So high vis yellow stops being quite as high vis when the other stuff in the surroundings where you might be running has also got quite a lot of that similar colour. Or, for example, there might be a big sort of development down the road where there are loads of contractors and builders around who are all wearing high vis. So the more high vis is about, the less you as an individual are likely to get seen. So thinking about what colours are contrasting with the area that you're running in at different times of year and at different times of day can be really helpful. Something that is a little bit unexpected. I really, really clearly spotted a lady when I was out in the car a couple of weeks ago, because she stepped out of her driveway onto the side of the road wearing really bright, lovely, luminous pink, but quite deep pink top. And she was really, really easy to see against the background of everything that was green. The other interesting thing, back to this sort of, like reflective patches allowing for movement to be more easily picked up when you're running on your, legs, flashes on your trainers, for example, or, handheld lights, etc., that move. When somebody's, for example, pulling out of a junction and you're running straight along the pavement towards them, they just get a very front-on view of you, and you're not really moving that sense. You're kind of coming straight at them, so it's just a straightforward, on fairly static view of you that they get. So, and they might well be, even if they're looking at you, they might be looking through you, as it were. So one of the things that can help kind of, again, trigger their brain to see you as something that needs to be noticed and needs to be seen, is by moving side to side slightly. So introducing a little bit of side to side movement in their field of vision helps them to actually recognise you as a person on foot, or running on a bicycle, or whatever it might be. So food for thought on some of the high vis stuff as we transition from when the reflective and the bright colours in the darker evenings and in the sort of darker daytime weather are great. Subtle shift in what's going to get you spotted a bit more easily as we come into the brighter months.